All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus Show. I'm One Bar with Lupagus, and today we're going to be talking, is it time for Mike Zimmer to possibly get the bootski? We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, the Vikings have lost 3 in a row, coming off a game where they gave up nearly 600 yards of offense and 50-something points. If Mike Zimmer is going to feel any kind of heat, it should be starting to simmer right about now.
Yeah, I mean, early in the season with that horrific start, we started 1-5, right? The firing of Mike Zimmer talk chatter was very, very prevalent, and it kind of cooled down after they came back and was having a pretty good season. But now, after yesterday's complete meltdown, I think it's fair that it's back on the table.
Well, it's fair, but I don't think he is. I think you look at how depleted this defense is. You're down to about fourth string linebackers. You don't have your best defensive player in Danielle Hunter. You lost your big free agent signing, Michael Pierce, before the season started. And you got players like Anthony Harris who clearly have checked out. So is that on Zimmer? I don't know. But I just feel like how bad the defense is, they're doing what they can with what they have. And it's just way too injury depleted right now. So I don't think that's Zimmer's fault.
Yeah, I think this team would definitely have a worse record if Zimmer wasn't the coach. So I'll give him that. Zimmer's worst season with the Vikings was his rookie year in 2014 when he was 7-9. Other than that, he's had winning records. He was 8-8 in 2016, but he's looking, I mean, we could very well lose to the Lions next week, as painful as that is to say, be 6-10. But you had a few comments. I mean, yeah, we were depleted. There's a lot of teams out there that are kind of going through the same thing. Our depth was not ready to, when you're just going to rely and just go ahead in the season with guys like Shamar Stephen, guys like Jalen Holmes, no depth at linebacker. I mean, I put some of that on Zimmer too.
Yeah, well, they weren't expecting Danielle Hunter to get hurt right away. And I mean, they thought they had Michael Pierce right before the season started. So you look at Shamar Stephen, probably was going to be a backup if he was even going to make the team. So yeah, I don't know. The depth wasn't great. I blame more at the safety depth, going in the season with 2 guys, and that's it. That is something that's on the coaching staff. You decide who you're going to keep, and you go into the season with only 2 safeties. To me, you look at next year, you got Danielle Hunter coming back, Michael Pierce, Kirk Cousins, one more year here. That is what you judge Mike Zimmer on. You give him one more year, you let him ride out with Cousins. If things go well and the offense is playing that good as this year, and you get a standard Mike Zimmer defense, this team should be, they should really be a Super Bowl contender. And then if they falter next year and the wheels fall off, then yeah, Zimmer's gone. But I think you got to let him ride it out next year, come back healthy, and give him a shot.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. Kirk Cousins, kind of just letting that era go out, see what happens next year. So that's very valid. Even when guys went down, they didn't even bring anybody in. I mean, there was guys like Snacks Harrison. There was guys out there that could have brought in. They didn't seem to have any interest, and they weren't very expensive. The one big thing that bothers me this year about Zimmer, about this team, is there's been many games, like you said, Anthony Harris, where players just come out and they don't even seem like they want to be there. They're not fired up, and I put a lot of that on Zimmer.
Well, it might be. It also might be that there's no fans there. They can't feed off any energy from the crowd, any energy from the stadium. That definitely has something to do with it. But yeah, the coach not motivating. And I think you can look at him and even look at some game plans going into games. Slow starts has to be on Zimmer. We're down 9-0 to the Jaguars. We're getting our asses handed to us by these, scrubby teams early in games where you're not coming out ready. And you wonder about the overall game plan. You wonder about why this is happening. And I think that goes back to the coach. And that did happen quite a few times this year. So that definitely goes on Zim's shoulders.
Yeah, another big part about possibly moving on from Zimmer is there's going to be some pretty damn good candidates out there this year. I mean, Eric Bieniemy, obviously been talked about quite a bit. You got Joe Brady in Carolina. My guy who I love, Brian Daboll at Buffalo, he's going to be a hot name. So that could come into the equation as well. But I think even though the Lions game is pointless, doesn't matter, if somehow the Vikings get absolutely blown out against Detroit, Zimmer should be pooping his pants.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the lack of effort from multiple players, then I think that's a different story. If they're competitive, if it's close, if you start playing a bunch of backups, it ends up being kind of like a glorified preseason game. then I don't think you put too much stock into it. But if you got your full arsenal of offense going out there and your best guys on defense and you lose to the Lions badly, yeah, that could definitely heat it up a little bit. But again, just with the weird COVID season, I think Zimmer will get a pass. But again, losing your last 4 games of the year is definitely not something you want to you should not feel safe about your job if you're going to end your season that way.
Any thought as far as having these young guys? We got some young pieces on defense. We got Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook still has some years left in him as far as a wasted year if we bring Zimmer back. I mean, the thought of just starting fresh with these young guys right now gets me a little intrigued.
Yeah, but then I think you got to change the quarterback position. I don't think you can start fresh and have Kirk Cousins here. If, you know, these rumors to him going to San Francisco actually have some legs and that happens, then possibly that's something you look at. But as long as Kirk Cousins is the quarterback of this team, I don't think you're moving on or changing it up at the head coaching position.
All right, as it stands right now, what is your percent chance Mike Zimmer is fired at the end of the season?
Percent chance he's fired? I'm gonna go with 20%.
That's actually still pretty good. 20%, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably more like 18%, which is still pretty good chance. And if Detroit, like you said, that game is going to make or break it unless we actually play to win and we get absolutely smoked. That's the only way I'll put anything on that game.
Yeah, who's their interim coach now? Is it Linehan or who is it?
Bevel or Bevel.
Oh, Bevel. Yeah, not Linehan.
Love that we lost.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe he's going to get his players motivated because he wants to put some good tape on himself. So I can't see Zimmer wanting to go into the season losing 4 in a row. So hopefully the team's fired up, ready to play, and these guys have some pride. And definitely on defense, you want to erase the 52-point performance and end the season on a good note.
End it on a good note. All right. Well, after the season, I'm sure this will be a talker, especially right after next week, and we'll be talking about this more. But 20% from Lupagus, 18% for me. That's pretty fair.
It is pretty fair, and this is also fair. Get enough sleep can make you more creative and improve your memory.